There is so much damage on Gamers 2 right now.
Okay, so there's the Rumble. We mentioned him before as a potential top lane pick, along with the Nod. They actually bring it up against the Wukong, and we'll be having that matchup. And of course, we also skimmed over the Corki pickup there, but now we see the full compositions in, and that is a lot of mobility, and you are going to dive on someone, and LowLand Lines is going to kill someone.
Yeah, one thing we didn't quite pick up too much on was the Ahri pick into Zed. It was a skill matchup before the adjustments to Ahri. At this point, I have a fair amount of concern for Iker if he is fairly passive to play Zed into Ahri, but that matchup we're going to have to keep an eye on. It's going to be to do with who roams and who can shove the other in first. Normally Zed's pretty good at shoving in against other champions, but as for the team compositions, as we said, Engage completely in the favor of LowLand Lions when it comes to when they start the fight, that's great. But then you look over on the side of Gamers 2, they've got the Equalizer, they've got a lot of siege potential as well when you take a Nidalee and a Corki into account. There is just so much in this game that I cannot wait to get talking about.
Yeah, it's going to be absolutely insane. I really want to see how this Wukong turns out. And you heard me say, oh, hello, at the end of that. I just wanted to see if they actually swapped that into the right position.
Right,
because they moved the Wukong into top lane. And we were talking a little about the Wukong jungle, at least I was anyway, but they swapped that at the last second. So.
Yeah, I guess maybe I was a little unclear on that. As soon as the Rengar's there, I was expecting
just to clear up any
top
confusion.
Lane. So. But it is LowLand Lions, so they could play anything mid.
Hell yeah. But we are now getting into our very first game of Week 2. LowLand Lions busting out the Wukong this time on the blue side, up against Gamers 2. Now swapping up to the red corner, and they have gone for a little more of a meta composition that at least we can understand the champion picks that they've come out with. But
well, I mean, you say that, but LowLand Lions, let's take a look at it, because I mean, Wukong just isn't exactly a standard laner for top lane. But when you look at what his role is going to be, it's not too dissimilar from other champions that we've seen. It's not too dissimilar from a Gnar with regards to engage and a lot of that AoE potential. So that's what they're going to be relying on. And of course, with the Sivir ultimate, they should be able to get Wukong in there more easily than if he was on his own. And speaking of getting in places fairly easily, LowLand Lions pick up the first award of the game.
Yeah, they do. And they move on to the second. They do see it placed down just before it stuffs up, but they don't manage to take it out. That's a spear right to the face onto CODSQ, who'll be taking a bit of damage there. At least Gamers 2 know exactly where they are. Iken now sitting in the bot side. And of course he does have that warded, so he has a little bit of early warning before they move in. You can see the bot lane of Jeebus and Hiva have pushed up, put those aggressive wards down for their own information.
Yeah, they have a ward that's almost standard. Normally you'll see this one by the turret the other side just to spot out a lane swap. And honestly, I wouldn't be too surprised to potentially see a lane swap out of Gamers 2 here, because Wukong is a melee champion. He doesn't exactly have all that much in the way of farming, especially when he's getting zoned out by a champion like Annie. So if they can get the lanes to sit well, it may very well go in their favor. And you can see that they have spotted the bot lane here. I wonder whether Gamers 2 are going to recall. Now, Rumble isn't the top champion in a 2v1. In fact, he's not that great himself, but I would hazard a guess that Wukong is probably a little bit worse.
We'll see. I mean, back in the day, when we did see some Wukong top lane, people would talk about the incredible all-in of a Wukong level 2. So we'll see if that comes to fruition. But bot lane Hybrid is already whacking away at Hiva. He's taking a fair bunch of damage. But yeah, it kind of like spikes at level 2 and then plummets. And then that's your laning phase.
Well, we'll have to keep an eye on level 2 top lane. But it is standard lane matchups that we have got so far. And you know, this bottom lane, Corki Annie, that is just burst central right there. And Sivir can only spell shield one thing off. And remember, this Braum was the first pick into the lane, so this tanky frontline support is going to have to absorb a lot of damage, and they've already traded a lot back onto Hiva, as you can see.
Yeah, he is taking a bunch of damage, but Visility has been the one who's been taking on the side of LowLand Lions. He's the AD carry. He wants to be the one getting near to those minions. Jeebus is already aggressing up, does manage to Phosphorus Bomb or Spell Shield the Phosphorus Bomb, and Hiva doesn't get his own damage onto Visility as well. Hybrid was just doing a good job of sitting in front of him. So, damage exchanged, but they're getting fairly low down there.
Yeah, and they didn't land the Q from Braum there, and that's a significant part of the ability to trade in that bottom lane. And honestly, they're going to need to rely on that a little bit more if they're going to want to take this.
Yeah, indeed. And now we take a look at the mid lane as well. Iker up against COSQ. And look at the farm differential. Yes, there's a minion wave there, but it's 17-10 so far in that Zed Ahri matchup.
Yeah, but bottom lane, here comes Gilius.
Oh, they're trying for this. Gank, and it's an easy kill onto that Sivir. The spell shield did not do much against the auto attacks from Jeebus, and that was just as clean as it gets.
Yeah, LowLand Lions held onto all of their summoners, though. And, although that is a completely successful gank out by Gilius, great start onto Nidalee. That's what you really need to do. Get into lanes early on, utilize the ability that you have and the strength that you have early to get yourself through what can potentially be a bit of a dip in the mid-game. So Gilius doing a great start. We already talked about how much he has to do this week.
Yeah, and he places down that aggressive ward, so he's going to even try and push into the jungle of Kairi. Now, throws out that spear onto Kozku. He's seeing it as turret, so pouncing into it would not be the smartest of decisions. We've seen Nidalee's pounce into towers before in the Challenger Series. Not worked out so well for some other people.
No, it hasn't. But what is working out pretty well is this Zed into Ahri matchup here for Iker. And we said Iker's normally a passive player. He's controlling this early game as you'd kind of expect here, being able to shove in a lot, and we'll have to see if Iker can get a lot of damage and force Kozku back before 6, but something's going to help with that with Hiva roaming up.
Oh, what are you doing here? Kozku is a little confused as he just wanders into the Dark Child and then has to head back to his turret. He'll be burning his flash very early into this game.
And these are great little trades here for Gamers 2. Getting summoners, getting a kill down in the bottom lane, this is exactly what Gamers 2 need to do with this composition, because if they don't get significantly ahead, they're going to end up falling behind. But top lane...
Oh, Gilius, the patient hunter, he was ready in the bush, and they put all that damage onto the clone from Morsu. That was, they must have known he was standing still for a reason.
Yeah, I mean, Gilius, a lot of that was from swipe during that damage, but look at Morsu. Every time he goes in, yes, he is getting the farm, but he's taking a lot of damage, and he's had to pick up a flask and potions to begin this game. So, again, I'm desperately keeping an eye on this top lane to see exactly how it's going to go, because, oh, mid!
Oh, Iker right underneath Kozku, but he gets charmed. He'll be taking one more tower shot. He'll die for that. Turns into a 1-for-1. That was extremely ballsy, but good charm in the right place.
Good charm, great charm, keeps himself at least in this matchup here with the 1-for-1 trade. Iker used everything, was not level 6, and he'd already had an advantage, so, that's a bit of an obscure timing to go in. Normally you'll just see a Zed wait until 6, because he gets all that extra damage and just pretty much gets a near free kill. Exactly, he gets the way out as well, so... Iker knew he could get the kill. I don't think he was expecting to die for it.
Yeah, it's like, I have the first part of my plan, which is kill him. I don't have the end of my plan. And that's what we saw right there.
Stage 3.
Stage 3 indeed. Jeeves and Hiva have returned to lane and bot lane, and they not only have the extra kill, but a large CS differential. He went back to base and now has the making of his phase. So he's on his way to his Trinity Force and getting that mid-game spike. But Hybrid now putting, again, more auto-attacks onto Hiva. I'm not really sure how he keeps getting in melee range. But Visibility is on the backside, just waiting to try and follow up with the damage. Gets one auto-attack. Just needs a couple more. Broomine Blade comes in. And then the 2 versus 2. They pick up a kill. Jeebus responds with some damage. But Kyra's thinking about a gank, and he's still there. Top lane, though. You do have the Cyclone coming out, harass more than anything. It's funny when you kind of use that in that terminology, but Jeebus now heading up as well, just walks back into 1 versus 2. Hybrid again somehow manages to connect the Q. Visibility now taking some damage from Gilius from the side. He'll be jumping onto him. There's the pounce, but Kyrie is there for the counter gank as well. He'll be going onto the turret. What is it with Gamers 2 and not having an escape route?
Gamers 2 just all in without any kind of out. You can see the strength of this 2v2 down in the bottom lane here for Sivir and Braum. As soon as they're not getting bursted down by this Corki Annie, they can survive through a lot, land the Q from Braum, get the stun and so much damage from Sivir, but it's heavily reliant on them actually getting all of the skill shots down in the bottom lane. And, I mean, we saw top lane as well. Morsu just ulting in the face of Smitty J. We see Smitty J ulting the wave down. And
it's a show of force.
Yeah, show of force with the ultimates. Both top laners just teleporting back up there as well. Leaves us in a position where neither team is going to have that teleport available for any kind of dragon control.
Yeah, and now we can take a little step back right now. 7 minutes 30 into this game, we've already had 6 kills. Gilius now able to walk through his jungle a little more clean. He has picked up the Trailblazer here, as has his counterpart of Kyrie.
Yeah, they have. And other pickups here from the items. I mean, Gilius dying there actually does a fair amount of damage to the ability of Gamers 2 to fight Lowland Lions in the bottom lane. BF Sword picked up onto Sivir is a massive spike in power here, because Jeebus only really has a Sheen, and yes, that's going to give him a little bit of that upfront burst damage, even more so, but the trades that Visibility and Hybrid are going to have, the sustain that's going to come from the Relic Shield as well, allows them to completely fight this. And I thought Gamers 2 maybe wanted to fight Morsu there, but his ult was still not available. may have been in a lot of trouble. Does clone himself out of there.
Yeah, he was good to go, and I'm just excited to see how he utilizes the clone, because we just have not seen that mechanic in such a long time. See if we can get any sick jukes off, but he still has his flash and still has his ultimate just in case he needs it a little bit later. He is only slightly behind in that lane up against Smitty J, in fact, so he's actually not doing too bad, and of course it's all about that team fight for Wukong when he gets into the game, so this is going to get even more explosive than it already is. I wanted to say it's going to get explosive, but I think we're already hit that stage.
We are a little bit past the beginning of that already, but you know, CosQ is struggling a little bit in this game, and a little bit is a little bit of an understatement, because 47 CS to 76, Iker is completely dominating him in this game, and honestly, CosQ said he felt confident that Iker was going to play passive. Iker has been anything but passive here in this game. Still has his ultimate available, so may you see him go in again, but both junglers are around this mid lane area. They understand the importance of both of these assassin mid laners getting ahead and staying ahead, so it really could all be on that next kill in the mid lane.
Yeah, Iker has done such a good job in this mid lane, even with the over-aggression at the start, still kept up that large CS advantage, as you mentioned. Bot lane also ahead, so every single lane from Gamers 2 is ahead. They picked up those small advantages earlier, and yes, LowLand Lions managed to respond with their own kills, but they're still lagging behind in this game. 10 minutes into this one now, and they have started to go back and pick up some of those trinkets. In fact, the blue trinket already picked up by Visibility. So he's going to be able to spot some of those ganks coming in as we head through into the mid-game. Kyrie looking for a gank into the bot lane as well. And pings do go down into the bot lane, so they may even know he's there. He may have been tagged by the visual, maybe not. They go straight onto Facility. Kyrie's there for the counter gank. He was using his ultimate fill of the hunt, but not enough to save his ally. Gilius gets pinned down by the bowler, and Jeebus turns around. There's the Tibbers, has another stun to offer, and throw down onto the bot lane of LowLand Lions, and that's another 2 for 0. What do they do with it? They move on to Dragon.
Great flash engage out of Heaver, and again, it's all about the burst from Gamers 2. And, you know, pair that with some spears coming out. Iker ults into Kyrie.
Coming in from the side, he does land the Razor Shurikens. Pop goes the Rengar. He goes down, and that's not yet another kill for Gamers 2, and he'll just come in to assist for the Dragon as well.
Kyrie really wanted to get that extra health at the end. Did get it, but it wasn't enough. And LowLand Lions will go pop. 6 kills to 3 currently in this game. Oh, CosQ. That's a long-range spear, means that there's no follow-up here from Gilius. But this is suiting Gilius' playstyle a lot better than we saw in last week's games against Origin. We talked about how Gilius really wasn't having an effect, but Gilius has been bottom lane. He's been mid lane. He's just getting into the different lanes, just making sure that his laners are getting their advantage. And Gamers 2 are in a great position because of it.
Yeah, top lane, once again, that Wukong just trying to farm away up against Smitty J, but so much damage as he just overheats and puts even more pain onto that Wukong. And still have to see if this pays off, because this is the main different pick of this game, and LowLand Lions kind of trick card.
Equalizer.
Underneath the tower, has the Flame Spitter, will be taking down that Wukong in the top lane, and he just walks away with it as well. So Smitty J so far ahead in that lane. That lane bully is just so difficult to deal with.
It is. It's so difficult. And you can see that Morsu is really struggling here when it comes to actually taking the fights. He's not too bad when it comes to farming, because he's just going in, getting farm and backing out. The clone's doing a fair amount of work there. But at this point, Smitty J gets himself a kill, gets himself a needlessly large rod. He's almost at getting Azania's Hourglass there as well. And that's just a big power spike here for Smitty J. As soon as he can get into fights here, yes, he's not running the magic penetration that we'd normally see out of Rumbles, but this is something that he desperately needs against his lane matchup, and it's going to add to the power of when he gets to fights by quite a significant amount.
Yeah, of course, magic penetration is the way to go typically as Rumble, but he's just adapting to the situation in this one. So that, looking towards the Ravenous Hydra, in fact, from Morsu, has picked up the Tiamat and the makings of it so far. So interesting build route from him, so into this game. Now looking at the jungle, Gilius actually opts towards the Magus enchant over the Juggernaut. So he's gone for that route this time, and I assume that's intentional. Kyrie heads into the top lane, looking for this gang to come in. Morsu just has a flash, and also the Cyclone as well. He'll be able to pop that in the second. Smitty J is overheated. He doesn't have any chance to answer back onto that gank, and they will get that kill for a 1-for-1 in total in the top lane.
finally LowLand Lions get that ult working, but bottom lane...
Tibbers comes down, but the stun was blocked out by the spell shield. Gideus looking to get on top of them, but there's no hunted, so he can't get in range with his pounce. And Hybrid just looks to take point and push them away as they maybe look to go a little bit deeper.
Hybrid even saved his ultimate there, so any kind of attempt again from Gamers2 can be deterred a little bit, but it's a red buff steal that they want. Gideus is actually out on his own here, and looks like LowLand Lions are going to be able to protect.
Oh, Hybrid saying, get off my lawn, Gideus, and Gideus
not.
says, no, I'll be taking this red buff, and maybe I'll just kill you as well. Hiva coming in from behind. Vitality blocks yet another spell with his spell shield. Kyrie came in from the top lane and is able to repel that, but Gideus got what he came for. He took the red buff. And LowLand Lions White actually have the advantage in the low esports vote. People are thinking that they will run away with this game up against Gamers2.
I think a lot of people might be surprised about that, with LowLand Lions still certainly on a lot of people's, or under a lot of people's radar. But something important there to note is the red buff trade is actually equal, because Morsu just went and stole red himself from the red side jungle. So Morsu actually uses his teleport to save this tower from going down. And Gamers2 kind of just have a lot of that pressure they just established, neutralized.
Yeah, so that first tower of the game has gone down. Gamers2 are still ahead in this game. I wouldn't call it commanding just yet, but Gideus will be also taking this blue buff, and of course he will be getting it as well. Ica doesn't have too much need for it. He lets his jungler take that one away. He'll be quite happy. And now CosQ moves up to the top lane. Maybe even looking to try and take out Smitty. Something could open up here in a minute, Stress. He's sitting in from behind. He does have the Equalizer, but Spirit Rush is available from CosQ. He takes a lot of damage from the Flame Spitter to start up, and Smitty J will overheat. So CosQ does have to burn his ultimate, and Smitty J only did that from one Flame Spitter.
Yeah, that's so much damage right now, but honestly, Gamers2 have a lot of damage just in general. They've reached some item breakpoints that are super important. You can see the Trinity Force on Corki with the Sorcerer's Boots. Over on Zed as well, he's now got Brutalizer and a Bilgewater Cutlass, so that is a big amount of damage that it's going to be difficult for anyone on LowLand Lions to be able to take. And again, that Zhonya's Hourglass is pretty much just about to be completed as soon as Rumble backs next. Ica wants to go in.
Gamers2 trying to take control right now. Morsu takes some damage. He will be hit up by the death mark from Ica. It's not enough damage. Kyrie did choose to ult there. Will be throwing out the bowler to lock them down with the snare. But again, they just push forwards, and now 3 towers in favor of Gamers2. They're starting to ramp up.
Yeah, and they knew Visility was down in the bottom lane, so they were comfortable to leave Jeebus pushing top as long as they didn't engage. And you could see that Zed goes in, forces people off the tower, but Jeebus
goes in for the 1v1. He knows he doesn't have ultimate, but he does have the flash. He has to burn it. He may still be dead. He doesn't need to. The minion wave was right there. He could supply the auto attacks. The 1v1, that should not happen. Ica now goes into the bot lane, takes out the AD carry as well. This is going from bad to worse. Kills all over the map globally.
Man, this is all Gamers2 right now. They are completely ramping this game. Morsu? Okay. Morsu, you're in enemy lines there.
Wrong side.
I mean, the decoy only lasts for so long and can't really do that.
Yeah,
so
and
I mean,
reveal stealth. So.
They get a turret in the top lane. Morsu's trying to just sneak around here in the back of the base. It's I guess it was a good attempt. He knew that Ica had used his ult and used his ignite, so the likelihood of Ica actually killing him was on the lower side of things, but you have to get there first.
Also true, but Ica had a million and one ways to just walk away.
But he, from what seems like a very strange play, Morsu gets a turret.
He does.
And that is actually a pretty significant thing. It's the first turret here in favor of LowLand Lions, so while he wanted to kill, the turret is far better for his team, gives them that extra gold. And Dragon has spawned, so this actually now creates a little bit more pressure onto Gamers2 to take this Dragon. They have to secure the area with wards first, and neither team has really had too much vision control around this Dragon. I mean, there is a ward in the back of this Dragon Pit that Gamers2 has not cleared. It is just at the top edge of the scoreboard. There, you can see the hell. So, I mean, Gamers2 know they can do this because they can see the mid lane. They've had enough vision control of the jungle, so this time they're safe. But you know, by no means have Gamers2 completely controlled the vision around that area.
Yeah, in fact, Gamers2's vision game has just been kind of on point in this game. The amount of pink wards going down right now from LowLand Lions, all defensive, and in fact, they're being cleared out as well. Gamers2 putting all of these green wards down now into the opposing jungle. They're just doing it by the book, taking the dragon, putting down the vision. They have an absolute stranglehold over this game right now, and it's really just kind of flipped a switch over the last couple of minutes.
Yeah, I mean, their vision is pretty much deep into the LowLand Lions jungle. You can see there they're even establishing
Wow,
more
pink
wards here deeper in, and they're going to be able to get turrets from this because now they can track the entirety of Lowland Lions coming. They know they've got to force Lowland Lions to go through their own base or through the safer, even deeper parts of their own jungle, and that means the travel time between towers to defend is so much greater. So Gamers 2 are just going to choke out Lowland Lions for a little bit here and just take the outer towers down, and that is almost where we find ourselves.
Well, Kari tries to get a pick in the mid lane and does a whole lot of not very much. Smitty J will shrug that one off and be quite happy with it. And even them taking the direct route, Lowland Lions were still slow to stop them at that bottom tower. So even if they took the safe route, they would have been even nowhere close. And Gamers 2 will just do the same thing in mid lane, just go from lane to lane to lane, picking even more up. And Lowland Lions, they've got to do something to stop the bleeding, but they're just not strong enough to take them on in a head-on collision.
Yeah, and their team composition wants to fight. That's the problem here, is they want to fight, but they're behind. So without Lowland Lions getting a couple of picks here, there's really nothing that they can do against Gamers 2 to engage because of how strong Gamers 2 are right now, that the counter-engage will completely wipe them off the map. It's a tough spot for Lowland Lions to be in, but they know that Jeebus is not really with the team right now, and Lowland Lions may be looking to fight.
They do land the Winter's Bite coming in. Morsu looking to Gib Heaver. He gets him down, but that was a lot on one person. Ica now hits onto the back line along with Smitty J. He's already used his equalizer. They take down the bottom lane duo. Jeebus will come in with a response as well onto Morsu. A 3-for-1 in total. And the rest of the Roaches scatter. That is a risky way to go, CosQ. You have to walk around.
He does. He's got to take the long way around. No chance of defending this turret. And even though Jeebus was a tiny little bit later into that fight than Gamers 2 would have liked, they actually only traded Heaver away from that. And Heaver didn't actually use anything in that fight, is another key thing. Flash and Tibbers still available for the next engage, so we'll be able to see that in the next one. But this was the fight that just happened. Heaver instantly gets taken out of the map. The equalizer was already gone, but Gilius manages to get himself out. Jeebus just takes down Braum, and look at the damage. This is a Corki that is so far ahead in this game. He's 6-0-1, pretty much on track to replicate yesterday's performance where he went legendary on Jinx.
Yeah, and wow, that was a lot of fun going to him as well. He's in a very good shape, and after that team fight as well, Lowland Lions, they burnt so much on just trying to kill one person, and that person was Heaver. And yeah, if you're bursting all of those ultimates on Jeebus, it might be worth it. You're taking 6 kills off the board, but Heaver will be quite happy to hang on to his Flash Tibbers. And CosQ, there is the Flash. Well, he just needs the Tibbers itself. Smitty J follows up with the damage. CosQ Spirit rushes sideways into Spearcat. She kills him.
The problem is Lowland Lions are, again, very similarly to yesterday, pushing out into areas where they don't have vision, and you're handing the kill to Gamers 2. You're saying, hey, I'm an Ahri, I've still got Flash and my ult available, but I'm going to walk up right next to you, so that by the time I Tibbers you, it's already too late.
Yeah.
We can already just take you away, and Gamers 2 will, every time that happens, go, okay, let's take an objective. Or they should do, but they're kind of angling towards Baron, but I think they're obviously waiting for Jeebus, and they're buying time for Ica to split push down in the bottom lane, because really, there's nobody that can duel Ica. So this is just a patient play here from Gamers 2 to say we need to get everybody in the right position, and then we do the objective.
Yeah. Who do we sacrifice to Ica?
And here we go.
Yeah, because now there's 2 people in the bot lane trying to defend. Only now does Cairo rejoin the rest of his team in the mid lane, but they have such a hold over the vision in the top side of that blue team jungle. This is the safest Baron there ever was, and now they only maybe think, maybe they could be on Baron. They ping it, and it's just too late.
Yeah, that's... oh, Charm is missed. Ica now can go in.
Oh, that was just the signal to go. Lands the death marker as well.
Oh.
Lands one more auto attack, and he's out of there.
And it was all on the Charm.
All on the Charm.
I mean, Ica is in a situation where there's a lot of people after him here. Teleport
Come on, Ica.
through.
What can you do? Oh, he nukes down Hybrid. He takes one more with him. That's a 2-for-1 so far. Smitty J joins the fight. He goes 1-on-3. There's the Zhonya's. How much can he do turning this one around? Kari sticks around, tries to take down the minions. Doesn't have enough damage with the flame spitter.
Coming, though.
The rest of the team, they all stuck around. Now Heaver comes in from the backside. Flash, Tibbers goes down, and Jeebus is there to clean up. He offers the damage. He picks up 1, 2, make that 3, and that is the clean ace. Well, 5 for 2, clean as it gets.
It's not
for Gamers 2.
It is Gamers 2. They a little overconfident on that ace. I mean, taking it all the way back, CosQ. If you're in a situation where you need the charm to hit in order for you to completely win that fight without completely losing it, maybe you shouldn't be in that situation because Ica is incredibly strong, is
Thoughts
all
of
I'm
the day
saying.
with stress.
I'm just saying, if you're trying to get that kill, that's maybe a kill that's a little bit risky. But Jeebus knows that he's not in too much danger, I would suspect. But it's a little bit of overconfidence from Gamers too. Going in 1 by 1, yes, they trade the kills, yes, they get an inhib, yes, they get full control of the game, but that's one of the things they have to be careful of when it comes to playing teams that aren't quite so far behind in this game. Gamers 2, since the moment they stepped onto the Rift here, have been in full control. And LowLand Lions really haven't felt like they're competing. CosQ always having to ult himself away, and it's a tough spot to be in.
Yeah, I've lost count of the amount of times that the ult has had to be a defensive one from CosQ. And that's yet another Dragon going down for Gamers 2. I think that makes it 3 now for that team. No, make that 2. I'm good at maths. And they move into the mid lane, and they'll just be taking yet another inhibitor. They'll be trying to siege this one in, but they also have those Baron up minions to tank up the tower. And this is kind of last chance saloon for LowLand Lions if they want to do anything more. So from the side, lands the ultimate onto 2, tries to get forward as well, but he dies before he can do anything. Ica comes in, lands onto Hybrid. Will he pop? Not quite enough damage, doesn't have the shuriken over the top of his head. And that is a 1-0. Should be enough to pry themselves into the base of LowLand Lions.
And that should have been the kind of engage, perhaps, that Morsu's looking for. Oh, Jeebus is going in.
Oh, it's go time! There's the
massive
big one right onto Facility. He bites the dust. Gideus comes in, managed to snipe off CosQ as well. Hybrid, the 2-man army along with his Rengar. I don't think they're going to pull off a miracle here. And Gamers 2 will just solidify their victory. They'll take all 3 inhibitors.
Bot lane's pushing in. There's nobody to wave clear here, so it's tutorial style out of Gamers 2, taking down all 3 inhibs. But I mean, Gamers 2 have just reached their power spikes and just never let go. And LowLand Lions never had an opportunity to get their comp working. They wanted to team fight. They were behind and couldn't team fight, and Gamers 2 exploit that.
Yeah.